Outlive. It's here, and it's a huge weekend for us. We have been saying that the best way to outlive cancer is to detect it early, and that still is the case. And then having gotten to know, so many different patients that are battling cancer and, kids and things like that, you also come to realize that faith helps too, in the sense that life can be really difficult. And to be able to walk through, a terrible disease that's attacking you and it's life-threatening, and if you can have some faith and have a relationship with God while you're battling, and then therefore your attitude and knowing that, hey, we're going to get through this and come out on the other side and outlive it. And the whole idea behind raising some money for Outlive is so that we can just help a family out. Somebody we don't even know, a stranger, that is going to get some support financially from a local hospital or from a local cancer center to pay a bill to, cancer is something that you got to fight, with chemo and radiation, but you're still going to go to work. And it's been good. It can certainly be better. And so just want to encourage everybody to buy their shirts. Tonight's the radio show will be at Baumauer's Victory Grill. They're on sale at Auburn Arena from 9 to 5, or I think 10 to 5 every day, today and tomorrow. And then we'll have a bunch of them at the game, just trying to do as best we can to sell them and raise that money. The Bruce Pearl Family Foundation, actually it's not. I'm going to contribute, my wife and I are going to contribute $25,000 to Outlive to be able to pay for the T-shirts for the students, and also there's a lot extra to be able to get to families and try to lead from that standpoint. New this year, and we want to thank the Mike Slive Family Foundation for its support, along with the agency that's going to be doing these prostate cancer screenings. We'll check with that in a second, but it's we did it in Birmingham, and we had in Birmingham for the Mike Slive Invitational, I think we had about 70 or so men over 40 get screened on the concourse. Statistically, 1 in 9 men are going to be diagnosed with prostate cancer. So you go ahead and do the math. There were a few guys that probably found out that day that they had prostate cancer and are involved in treatment right now. Same thing will be going on at Auburn Arena. So I've got a few guys in here over 40, right? Get screened on Saturday. I'm not kidding. Do it for your family. I got screened. My number was a good number. I felt somewhat relieved. And if the number wasn't good, I would have thought, gosh, if I'd have gotten this thing checked 6 months earlier, maybe my number would be different and I had a better chance to survive. So just want to encourage everybody for that. We take it one game at a time, and I've been working on Kentucky since we got home from Ole Miss, and they're good. Ashton Hagans is probably the best point guard in the league, like Coach Calipari says. He just affects winning. He affects winning and with his defense, with his ability to make plays, his assist-turnover ratio, to what kind of competitor he is. I mean, obviously, we were one of the first people to offer Ashton, recruited Ashton, actually had a chance. And I told him when we were recruiting him, I said, what's going to happen is you're going to love Auburn, and then Coach Calipari is going to come in and offer you a scholarship at Kentucky, and you're going to break my heart. And he did. But he broke a few other hearts as well, not just mine. But I really have got great respect for him. If Isaac Okoro was a point guard, he'd play like Ashton Hagans. And you know how strongly I feel about Isaac and how he affects winning. And then Richards, Richards is averaging 19-9 on the road. He's an SEC Player of the Year candidate. But don't forget, 3 years ago, he was probably one of the top 2 or 3 centers in his class, a top 20 player, McDonald's All-American. And if you go back and look at his class, he was in a class of some of the best bigs that are in the NBA right now. And so this is just it was only a matter of time before Nick was going to break out and do what he does. They're 13th in the country in free throw percentage at 77%. They go there more than anybody else. So they do a couple things. They do a great job of getting to the foul line, and they do a pretty good job of trying to guard without fouling. And so they make more free throws than their opponents attempt because of those 2 factors. And if you look back at our game a year ago in the Elite Eight, one of the major reasons why we were able to upset Kentucky was the way they shot from the three-point line and the way they shot from the free throw line. They played well. They got really good looks. They got to the foul line, but they didn't convert, and it just opened a door up for an upset, for us to be able to, pull off, one of the greatest wins in the history of Auburn basketball. Kentucky was picked to win the league, and right now it looks like them and LSU, to me, are the top. Look like they're the best teams in the league right now. And their record obviously indicates that. So when you're a team that just got done playing, I guess we just got done playing 45 minutes, but in the first 10 minutes of an SEC game, you managed to score 2 points. So if that thing held on, we'd have been down 30-4 at half. We'd have lost something to 8. Those are kind of scary numbers. So I'm not sure, what we got going into this one from a standpoint of what we can count on offensively. So excited about a challenge. Obviously, worked really hard for College Game Day to come to Auburn. It's a significant step in the direction of our program. We've tried to recruit so much with, come to Auburn and make history, because you go to a lot of great programs and you can add to great history, but you can't really make it because it's already been made so many times. Here you can make it. And when I get asked the question, why are you guys, how have you guys, after the Final Four run, some teams would, just kind of maybe, hey, been there, done that, and especially when we had some guys returning. We're staying humble. We're staying hungry. We're trying. This group's trying to make history. We got to play better to be able to do that. But these next few games here, Kentucky, at Arkansas, and then LSU, are going to really see whether or not we have the ability to step up.
With McCormick and Dowdy, I think they have more turnovers than assists just in SEC play, and obviously the other night wasn't their best night as far as distributing the basketball. What's your confidence level in those 2 guys? What are your plans with them, and how do you get them up to what you want to see? And
then you might add the fact that Ashton Hagen's the best defensive guard.
Yes.
Is coming in to guard them? Yeah, thanks, appreciate that. You just got to go to their strengths and try to hide their weaknesses. We have other playmaking guards that can do things, that need to be able to do things. Clearly, we needed to not turn the ball over like we did. And play within ourselves a little bit. You add all that to, and again, you look back at the games from a year ago. Jared is not here. Jared was a huge. Jared and Bryce were huge factors in our matchups against Kentucky, and they're obviously, not there. So we've got other strengths. We got to continue to defend and rebound. We got balanced scoring, and I would say, if anything, those guys need to continue to focus on playmaking for others and taking better care of the ball. And I think that could really help us and help them.
Coach, you're pretty passionate talking about this Outlive game coming up on Saturday. Do you have a personal connection to it, or what What gives you that passion for the game?
Well, I mean, it's just, first of all, it started at Tennessee, where I had a student athlete, Chris Lofton, that battled and beat cancer his senior year. He outlived it. OUTLIVE. And then in honor of his fight and survival, we created the Outlive program as a recognition of him and an awareness, but not for a random drug test at the end of his junior year in an NCAA tournament game. He probably would never have detected it, and it could have killed him. And he was lucky, but he fought it, and he fought it with privately as best he possibly could. And so, but he had a lot of support from his team, and that's part of the reason why we created Outlive, is so that we have students on campus that are battling cancer, and whether it's a phone call, whether it's a card or a letter, whether it's an invitation to come watch practice, we have campers that have done it, and they reach out to us and they tell us, and then we connect to them. We have people in the community that got relatives that are doing it, and it's just a way for us to be able to support our community and create awareness, raise some money, and yeah, we are passionate about it. And when I left Tennessee, the one thing I asked Tennessee to do when I left was, would they keep the Outlive program? And the answer was they kind of felt like it had outlived its shelf life. And my response was, well, cancer hasn't outlived its. So hoping long after I go, that Auburn basketball will continue this program. It has nothing to do with me.
Bruce, you mentioned on the radio after the game the other night that maybe you should consider maybe making some changes in the starting lineup. Have you given that more thought?
I have, and I just don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't have an answer for why, we're not starting better. I don't have I don't know why that combination of our players are struggling. Obviously, look, Anthony McLemore is really really playing well, and when he is effective defensively and making shots and doing the things that we've seen Anthony do, we play better, clearly, and he's making a real strong case for Sixth Man of the Year, and it's a great spot to be in because he started the last couple of years, and to now be a sixth man and handle it the way he has, is really good. We've got to do a better job of taking advantage of Austin Wiley, and that's my fault, and that's our fault. When he's in there, he's got to get better touches, and we're not putting him in position to be successful. When Anthony's in there, we get Anthony shots, and he makes those shots. So when Austin's in there, why aren't we getting him shots where he's comfortable? He's done a great job improving himself in the free throw line. So that would be, part of the answer. Austin defensively has got to have more impact for us. He does, and they are bringing him out in ball screen. First few plays of the game, you're going to see Nick Richards and Ashton Hagans in a middle ball screen, and they're going to attack us. And we've got to be able to defend that.
You mentioned McLemore. Has he done anything to add to his game on or off the court here this past year?
I just think that obviously the way Anthony defends, the way he does impact ball screens, the way he flies around and protects the rim, and the way he has worked really hard at his being that stretch five. When you put five guys on the floor that can shoot it, and when Anthony's playing the center position, I don't care what you run offensively, it's better. It's just better because your spacing is so good. So that's why when Austin's in there, he's going to be inside, and his man's going to be inside, which is going to make the driving lanes more difficult. It's going to put their shot block at the rim. It's going to put, it's going to do a lot of different things. You can't pull Nick Richards away from the basket. When Anthony's out there, we can pull him away from the basket, and all of a sudden everything we do looks better. It's nothing personal between Anthony or Austin. But when Austin's in there, we did a better job of taking advantage of what he can do.
I think when Anthony was a freshman, he only attempted like 1 3-pointer, and now, in SEC play, I think he's your most consistent 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Did you ever expect that?
I don't know that I did expect it. He had a good stroke. And one of the things that we do recruit, like guess what? Next year, when Stretch is out here playing, he's going to be able to shoot 3-ball. I know you find that hard to believe, but he is. And we're recruiting some inside guys right now that are really good players that I think could be really good shooters. But, I believe in empowering bigs to be able to step out. It's a big part of what we do. And I think coaches will talk about that a lot, but will they really do it? Will they really let him shoot? Austin's one of the few bigs that I've had that we really didn't ever, get him to stretch. And he's doing a great job at the foul line. So I think that I know it's one of the hardest things for us to guard when we have to go up against stretch 5 men. So it's great. Anthony has worked really hard at it. Spent a lot of time in the gym with it. So it's something that I believe in.
Very good. How much better is Nick Richards playing here in this last couple of weeks, you think?
Yeah, significantly. I mean, he's playing like he was capable of playing, coming out. He's playing hard, playing, physically. He's knocking down the 14-foot jump shot. Ashton Higgins does a great job of finding him at the rim. He's made big free throws late. Seems like he's just a terrific teammate. He leads the league in shot blocks. I mean, he's really, really athletic. But if you look back at his high school ranking where he was, I mean, I remember watching him in high school. Whoa! I mean, I liked him as much as any of those centers that were coming out. And there's a bunch of those guys in the NBA right now, and he was as good as any of them, and he is now.
It's the Urology Center of Alabama.
Oh, golly.